Hi YouTube! In this video I want to show you the THL 4400, which I just received from merimobiles.com. It was shipped from their European warehouse. It got here overnight, absolutely tax and worry free. It comes in a white box like this one with some specs on the back. It comes with a 5-volt USB wall charger, a micro USB data and charging cable, some earphones. They also included a second screen protector. One was pre-installed on the phone already, and they also included this tiny little USB on the go adapter. This phone has a 5-inch capacitive 10-point multi-touch screen with a 720 by 1280 HD pixel resolution. It is an IPS display, it looks like a one-glass solution, and it's supposed to have a Gorilla Glass. It has the MT6582 Quad-Core CPU inside, which is clocked at 1.3 GHz. It has 1 GB of RAM, 4 GB of internal memory, and it also supports TF cards. It runs on Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. It is a Quadband, it is totally unlocked, and of course it also supports 3G/UMTS in one of the SIM slots. It has a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, a GPS, a G sensor, a proximity sensor, a light sensor, a magnetic field sensor, and it also has a notification LED. It supports USB on the go, what a surprise, and it also supports firmware updates over the air. It has two cameras, one main camera with a 13 megapixel output, probably 8 megapixels are real, autofocus and a LED flash f2.4, and one front-facing camera with an 8 megapixel output, probably 5 megapixels are real, f2.2, and of course this phone is a dual SIM, dual standby phone. Let's take a closer look at the device. You have your front-facing camera and your proximity and light sensor right here, and as you can see, blinking away is the notification LED. The home, back and menu buttons are soft touch buttons and they light up nicely. You have also a microphone right here, nothing on the bottom. On the left side you have your power button, on the top you have a 3.5mm headphone jack and your micro USB port. On the right side we have some volume rockers. On the back you have your main camera, your LED flash and some speakers right here. And I don't know if you can see this, the back cover has some sort of structure to it. And if I can get this thing open for you, I can show you the inside. From the inside we can see that it takes a TF card right here. It takes two regular size SIM cards. I'm cheating a little bit with a micro SIM card right here. And this is the built-in battery, and it is huge. It is a 4400 milliamps battery. Some thoughts about this device. I really like the build quality. Even though it's all plastic, it still feels very solid. The biggest highlight, of course, of this phone is the huge battery. It should easily last you a few days. The display is very good, not the best I've seen, but I would still say it's very good. The Wi-Fi reception is very strong. The GPS reception is also very strong. The GSM reception I would rate as good. The notification LED is very noticeable, but unfortunately it only supports red and green. In my opinion, the main camera takes good pictures, not high-end pictures, but still good. The LED flash is just okay, but it's definitely above average compared to other Chinese phones I've tested so far. As of right now, and of course I cannot look into the future, the firmware seems to have a couple of issues. For example, I'm not so sure how well the magnetic field sensor actually works. It does work, no question about it, but it does not work with every app I've tested. The stock launcher can be a bit laggy sometimes, and for some reason right now I'm not able to move any of my apps to my SD card. So if you're planning on installing a lot of things, this can be a problem for you. Bottom line, I think this is a very solid and reliable phone with some firmware issues, and of course it does have a fantastic battery life. Like always, I installed additional apps and games for demonstration purposes. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment sections below. If you want to find out more about this phone, please stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching. Let's start by going into the system settings. Let's start with about the phone. As you can see, it has a quad-core CPU clocked at 1.3 GHz, 1 GB of RAM, and it runs on Jelly Bean. Let's check out the supported languages. Let's see which languages are included. Those are all the languages. What else do we have here? It has some sort of float app feature. When you turn it on, you have some quick access to your videos, your music, a calculator, and of course you also have access to a voice recorder. I think this is pretty much useless. I'm turning it off. What else do we have here? You can freely select which SIM card is supposed to have a data connection, but as far as I can tell, only on one SIM slot it will work on 3G. And of course I can show you in this SIM management that this is a dual SIM, dual standby phone. Let me go into the engineer mode for you. I don't know the code, so I'm using this app to go into the engineer mode. Let's check out the supported frequencies. As you can see, it is a quad band, and those are the supported 3G frequencies. I can also show you that AGPS is supported. You can see it right here, AGPS on off. Next up, let's test some Google apps. Where do I have my Google apps? Let's start with the Play Store. It comes pre-installed out of the box, and by the way, this phone does not have any Chinese bloatware at all. Let's test YouTube. Let me turn down the volume and let me just start a random clip, and here's a little bummer. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it is a little choppy. I'm guessing this is also a firmware issue, or maybe the YouTube app is not optimized. I have no idea. Next up, let's test Google Maps. Let's see if it can find my location. Yes, it can. I'm right here. Zooming is not a problem. Let's check out a street view. I'm hoping it is covered. It is covered. Street view, not a problem at all. But here's the thing. If I go into the compass mode, you can see it is not working, even though this phone really does have a magnetic field sensor, which I can show you in a second. Let's test the compass. It is working fine, but for some reason not with every app I've tested. Let's check out Adobe Reader to see how well this phone can handle larger documents. Looks pretty fast. Zooming is not a problem. Rotation speed is okay. What can we test next? The multi-touch, for example. You just have to trust me on this one. It is a 10-point multi-touch. There you go. Let's test the LED flash. Of course, you probably won't be able to see much, but it is actually above average. Let's turn that off again. What else can we test here? Let's start with some benchmarks. Let's do Antutu first. This phone scores at around 17,000 points, which is normal for this CPU and GPU. Let's see some of the details. Now Antutu thinks, for example, this phone has a gyroscope sensor, but that is not true. I don't know where it's getting that information from. I don't want to install anything. Let's check out the sensors again in CPU-Z. There you have it. It is a 6582 Quad-Core CPU, and those are the sensors that are actually supported. You can see the light sensor, but it's working. It also thinks there is a gyroscope sensor, but it's not getting any readings, so gyroscope sensor is not there. Let's do more benchmarks. Let's test the GPU by running Nina Mark II. And like always, I'm gonna do a jump cut. Almost done. And it scores at 51.7 frames per second. Let's get out of there and do another benchmark. Let's run Antutu, no, Quadron standard. And again, I'm gonna do a jump cut. Almost done. And the score is 4,993 points. Let's see what we can test next. How about I start the camera real fast. Let's check out the picture's details. Probably won't be able to see much, but let's go into the details. As you can see, this is a 13 megapixel output, but I'm guessing that's not real. And it has a f2.4, and I took a front-facing camera earlier. Let's check out these details. 8 megapixels, probably 5 megapixels real, and f2.2, which is a little surprising that it is a better value than on the main camera. Let's test out the USB on the go feature. Let me try to hook that up for you. See if it's mounting. Yes, it just mounted. Let me go into the file manager. And there you can see this is my external USB thumb drive. Let me just load a picture. Working just fine. And how about we test the browser? Let me go into my bookmarks and let's just load CNN. Loading fast, but let's check out the full site to see how well it handles a bigger website. Also, the loading speed was very good. Zooming is not a problem at all. And how about we check out the gallery? Let me just go into a random folder like my wallpapers. Let's see how fast the pictures load. Nothing to complain about, I would say. It looks very nice. Zooming, not a problem, and the colors are really good. And while we're in the gallery, let's load a video. Let me turn down the volume again. Let me start my standard video. This is a 1080p recording in a MKV format. And it runs smoothly. Colors look great. Also a great viewing angle. And I think that's pretty much it for now. Last but not least, I want to show you the viewing angles of this device. And there's one more thing I can show you. There you have it. It supports wireless update over the air. And as I was just saying, I want to show you the viewing angles of this device. And last but not least, I'm gonna do a little gaming. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon.